Good morning, YouTube. It is 10 o'clock in the morning here in the great state of Texas. And what is this? We're doing another woodworking project. And what is this? What is this object I'm holding? It's a seashell. Say that 10 times fast. A seashell from Charleston, South Carolina, where I went on my honeymoon 1 year ago this week from when you were watching this. So I made this project starting all the way back in January and finished it finally in March. So that was a piece of seashell that I picked up from the beach from when we went on our honeymoon. And this is a piece of scrap wood that has been in our yard for years. And I thought it would be a cool memento to take the seashell from our honeymoon and this piece of scrap wood from our home and make like a memento type of paperweight. Obviously you can see there, I'm super excited about it. So got on the bandsaw, decided that this piece was a little bit too big, got it down to the size that I wanted, and then I took some, I believe 15-minute epoxy. It took me literally 5 months to make this project. So the details are kind of simple. So I lost all of the footage of the actual casting pour and the actual putting on the 15-minute epoxy to adhese it to the wood. But here it is after we put it in the pressure pot, got it out of the mold, and realized, okay, not too bad. A crap ton of bubbles in it, way more bubbles than I anticipated, so I could already see problems. So this is supposed to be like a keepsake, and it's not going well. But, you know, just like marriage, it's not perfect, and this is not going to turn out perfect either. So once we got it all figured out, then we decided, okay, how are we going to attack this? So I didn't know exactly how to start this project off. So what I ended up doing was putting 2 pieces of waste pine board on either end of it, because I obviously didn't put enough epoxy on the top portion of it. So I was like, okay, cool, we're just going to turn it down just like we do any other project that we usually do. And decided, okay, well, this is going to work out. So put the faceplate on, put screws in. Everything up until this point is going relatively well. And to say that this project went well, that would be a lie. So let's see what kind of insanity we can get into. Because I've done some projects where, you know, you guys have seen my Undertaker project. You guys have seen some of the little mini Lego figs that I've done. Those have turned out relatively well. So I kind of expected this to go, you know, the same way, relatively well. And for the most part, it did initially. We're getting good ribbons off. You can see that we're getting plenty of good material off. And I'm pretty excited about it. Thinking, you know, this is going well. It's going to turn out great. Once we sand it, it's going to turn out absolutely beautiful. Wow, was I wrong really, really bad. So here we are trying to get a lot of this material off. And up until this point, everything's going, you know, fairly well. The sharp, you know, tool, everything's coming off, trying to get that nice dome shape to it. But once we started taking off the layers, what I did notice was, like, if you have never turned down seashells, that's what I'm saying. Seashells. It's basically like turning down a rock. It literally feels like a rock against the chisel, and you don't get that smooth type of finish that I was initially going for. And I had to find out the hard way, because it completely, here in a second, is going to wreck my round carbide tool. So I'm trying to work off as much material as possible. I don't want to leave that pine board on top of the actual piece itself, because by this time I'm going, okay, it's going to turn out not as well as I initially wanted it to, but I didn't want that piece of pine because it just looks tacky. It's not really great wood. And when you kind of leave it on there like that, it kind of just, it doesn't look good. And I didn't put enough glue, and it fell off the lathe, and I'm like, this is problem number 1. So what we ended up having to do was rounding out the bottom part of the actual blank itself. I'm trying to get that hot glue off of it. It would have been easier, and it probably wouldn't have gummed up my my little sander here if I would have just taken a chisel and gotten that off and picked apart that glue. So trying to make everything nice and even so we can put another piece of pine board on there and add more copious amounts of wood glue, or hot glue. So here we are. Hopefully by this time this year, I finished this in March. You guys are watching this in October. Hopefully by then I've gotten a better glue gun, because this little glue gun, man, it spits out some hot glue, but man, does it take forever to get all that, melted down. So put another piece of pine board on it, going, okay, part 2, not a problem. We're going to figure it out. So same thing, put the faceplate on, get it reattached, and now we have to go back and balance everything out just like we were doing initially, which wasn't a big problem. I'm like, okay, it's not like we're gouging this out. We just have to get that superficial top layer off, get everything nice and even, and make that nice cone shape that we're trying to do. But what I'm realizing here, where you can see that I'm working at the where the tailstock is, I'm starting to hit that small piece of seashell against that carbide tool, and it's getting a lot of chatter. It's literally like a rock. It's worse than turning metal, and I'm going, oh my god, I'm ruining my tools. Because I've never worked with seashells, I thought they would just crumble and it would be fine, and then when I started to get in there, I'm like, it's not as easy as I thought it was going to be. So by this time, I'm just trying to salvage as much as possible. I know that it's not going to turn out, pretty, or as pretty as I wanted it to. So here I am taking that remaining piece of pine board, and I'm just trying to get a small little slope, nice little gentle dome shape off of it. But I keep hitting that damn piece, and here I am trying to save my little round carbide, chisel, and it's not going well. Actually, it is actually going fairly well, but it didn't turn out the way I exactly wanted to. For the most part, the shape of it, absolutely beautiful. And then I try to work down and make everything nice and even on the bottom. And I realized, okay, I don't have enough material to reverse it into chuck or make a mortise. And I realized that it's going to be a problem if I had tried to flip it and make a mortise with it. So I'm glad I didn't do it that way. So by this time, I'm just trying to get a nice dome egg shape type of appearance, trying to smooth everything out. And by this time, I'm fairly happy with what material I have gotten off of it. And I'm just taking that flat skew and just trying to make everything nice and even before we get to the sanding part. And there's a little bit of chips, there's holes in it, the epoxy, there were way more holes in that piece of wood and in the seashell itself, to where we had, not a lot of good casting with it. And here I am trying to feel out the gouges and trying to make things as flat as humanly possible without, dulling the tool more than I absolutely have to. So that went okay, and now we're just getting ready for the sanding part of it. So just like with any other project, going from 320 or 340 all the way up to micromesh, and this part went relatively quickly, not a lot of complications. But like I said, this is supposed to be a memento. It's a keepsake that I'm going to have forever. So we got the seashell in Charleston when we went there for our honeymoon off the beach, and it would be cool if I could do something like this every year, because every year we plan on going, to Charleston for our anniversary. At least that's what we want to do. So this part here, this is where the pine board initially was, and what I'm trying to do is, I realized I couldn't sand off this part. That's just basically hot glue, and I'm just taking small little strokes, getting as much of that material off. Went back, sanded it yet again. I don't know what happened here. I don't know why I'm having so many issues there. Oh, it's because my head got in the way. So there we are, getting all of that done, and I realized that's as good as it's going to get. So once we finished everything, then we went up to the wet sanding and got all of that finished. And I'm realizing, it doesn't look half bad, but it doesn't look nearly as great as I wanted it to be. But I'm going, okay, it's not horrible. We're going to hang on to this. The wife will like it, maybe. I don't know. She hasn't commented yet on it, but it looks cool. The general idea of what I wanted to do was basically finished. So it's a seashell from the beach in Charleston on our honeymoon, with a piece of wood that's been by our house forever. So it's a good memento of the house and of our anniversary. So once I was all done sanding, then I just took the chisel and I'm just trying to pry this off, and the plan is to sand down the bottom of it and polish it up as nice and neat as I possibly can. And I'm trying not to scratch the actual finished product here, as I'm trying to pry this off with all my might, going, I just want this to be over. It wasn't a bad project, but it wasn't as fun as I initially thought. It took 4 months between other projects and work obligations to get this done. So not my best work, but not my worst work ever. So here I am, just sanding down that bottom portion of it. By the way, if you get this Ryobi sander, let the motor warm up. I didn't do that, and that's why it kept on sticking like that. It's a good product. I don't want it to, for people to think it's complete crap. But anyway, so 1 year anniversary. By the time you guys are watching this, I'm probably in Charleston, celebrating our anniversary. So hope you guys liked it. Hope you guys got something out of it. Here's the final product. Not too bad. You can see all the bubbling on the bottom, but the general idea was there. It looks pretty good at that angle, and here's another angle. Not too bad. Not my best work, but hope you guys liked it. Hope you guys are doing well, and I'll see you guys in the next project. Peace. Okay, so project's done. It is March 22nd, 2021. You are watching this the week of my first year anniversary being married. As I'm sure I went over in the commentary, this is one of the seashells we picked up at the beach in South Carolina where we had our honeymoon. It didn't turn out as well as I wanted it to. The wood kind of looks cool. I had issues with the casting. You can see all the bubbling that's in there. A lot of air pockets, but it's not perfect. Just like marriage, it's not perfect. This is year 1 of our marriage. It'd be cool if I could do like a memento, like every year I'm married, like a different seashell from every beach or something like that. That would be cool. But overall, I hope you guys like the project. I'm probably going to do something else this week, only because it didn't turn out as well as I wanted it to. But I mean, it was cool. I just had some problems with it. But like anything else, we're going to keep working. So hope you guys liked it. I'm probably having my anniversary trip right now. But anyway, don't forget to subscribe. All that good stuff we talk about on the channel. And I'll see you guys in the next project. Hope everybody... Yeah, I'm doing this in March. You're not going to see this until October. Obviously, my wife is going to see this. But I hope everybody's doing well out there. Having a great October. Hope you guys had a great summer. Great year. It's still early in 2021. But, all right, I got to go. I'm just rambling now. All right, I'll see you guys later. Bye.